We finally crawled into the tent, took off my waterproofs and boots, while the dog cowered in the corner of the porch. We shouldn't have been there that night, and the tent was all the shelter that we had. It was a cheap tent, and unfortunately it started to show its colours. If we were lucky, we'd have an unsettled night inside the tent itself, and if not, we'd have a potentially risky journey back to the safety of the car. The kit I'm going to talk about today, I didn't have with me on that February night in my story, but as a result of that experience, it prompted me to invest in something better. I certainly don't want to be in that position again, and I wouldn't want you to be either. And so today, what we're going to talk about is the Terra Nova Southern Cross 1. Hello, I'm Mal Topping, outdoor adventure photographer and owner of Extreme Exposures. I spend a lot of time out in the mountains taking pictures for my clients of their people and their products, and sometimes that requires me to go out and spend time overnight. And in order to do that, well, I need the right kind of kit and equipment, and that's what today is all about. Now, you may have heard of this before because it's been around for some time, but the thing I like about it is that it's a lightweight but pretty much bomb-proof 4-season tent. And on a day like today, you might be thinking, well, why do you need a 4-season tent? Well, you never know quite what's going to happen. So when you get your Southern Cross 1 for the first time, it'll come in this lightweight stuff sack that's made out of the same material as the outer fabric. Inside, you've got another bag and the fabric. And inside that bag is contained the 2 poles and the pegs. There are 2 poles required to erect it. The red one, which runs from end to end and has these 2 silver connectors, and a blue one, which runs along the width of the tent that fits into this sleeve that's sewn on the side. Each connects with the tent via these colour-coded tags at ground level. And then when the poles have been inserted, connect the black clips to the red pole. And now the really great thing about this tent is that it's freestanding. It means then if you didn't want to, or you forgot them entirely, you don't actually need pegs to be able to set up your tent and position it where you want to. There are 11 peg points, including 4 extendable guy lines. The door has a 2-way zip that allows ventilation and access. And I've often cooked inside and kept a bit of the zip open at the top to allow carbon monoxide to escape. There's also a clip at the bottom to help the shape of the tent and to stop the zip from failing if the outer fly sheet is being pulled and pushed about by the wind. To open the door is straightforward, but Terra Nova have included a few extra clips to help keep the door open while you get in, out, or sit and have a brew with a view. Inside, the inner can be left connected between trips or taken down and out to suit your preference. Each corner of the tent inner connects to the outer using these little black clips, and that helps the inner from sagging in the night. The white fabric then connects to the inner roof of the outer by these toggles, and when they're done, so are you. There's no inner clips for the inner fabric, like there is on the outer, but there's a tie-back point on the left edge of the door. On some of Terra Nova's tents, there's actually a little pocket that you can stuff the inner door into, but on this tent, there isn't that option, and you've got to deal with these little toggles instead. Other than that, there's 2 ventilation points within the tent itself, one at the foot and one at the head, and you can open and close these as you need to. I've not had much in the way of condensation in the tent overnight, but there is a little trick that I'm going to tell you about a little bit later, which will help keep your tent dry between trips. As for sizing, it's very comfortable given the weight. I'm 5'11", pretty average build, and find it most agreeable when lying down, but also if I have to sit up, there's plenty of space, and I could probably be in this tent for some time and be reasonably comfortable. Now the bad news is that this tent retails on Terra Nova's website for 600 quid. If you shop around a bit, you can probably get it for around 420, 430, but even that is quite a lot of money if you're an enthusiastic walker and are not using it to the extremes that it should be. However, if you want something a little bit more plush, a little bit more capable, or you want that reassurance that this tent will actually do the job for you, then this is a great option. However, if you want a reassurance that you're actually going to get a decent bit of kit and you're not going to have to go back to the car in the middle of the night, it's a good option and well worth the money. So one of my top tips is not to use the actual stuffed sack that it comes in, and that's so that you can keep your inner of your tent and your outer of your tent dry when you're going between different campsites. So I use a dry bag. It's just a standard lightweight dry bag that I put the fabric in. Okay, and that's it there. But also, throughout my trips, I also take one of these. And all it is a little microfiber cloth. You get them from Asda, I think, in packs of 3. And they're about, £1, £1.50. They're super absorbent yellow cloth. And I use this to dry the tent fabric off, both the inner and the outer, before I put it back in this bag. And by doing that, it allows you to keep the tent dry in between pitching the tent, which ultimately gives you a better experience when you're inside it. It's quite lightweight, you can wring it out quite easily, and then it's pretty much dry and ready to go again. So there you go, that's the Terra Nova Southern Cross 1, a bomb-proof, lightweight, 4-season tent that's big enough for pretty much all the trips that I need to do, and it's just me and my camera kit. If it's something that you're interested in, by all means, go and Google it, go and find it in the shops. I'm sure you'll be able to find it. It's a really popular tent, and rightly so. It's certainly my favourite tent and one that I will continue to use.